everybody, this is Dangan, and what I'm gonna do today is make a video about all the maps I've worked on in the past, like all the custom Minecraft maps I've worked on that have never been released, like never finalized, never finished, never offered up a download for, or any of that sort of stuff. And this is gonna be a pretty big video because there are 19 total from the very beginnings of Minecraft map making, which is well before even my Race for Wool maps I made in November of 2012. So without further ado, I'll just get started with some of them. So on to the first one. Alright, so this is the first map on the list. The name of the folder that this is called First CTM. It was created September 6, 2011, so a full year before any maps that you might have known about me before. And I am obviously in survival mode because creative mode didn't exist back then, and I have a ton of blocks, or probably, yeah, you can see right here 111 signs. A stack of 111 signs suggests it was too many items in all these items I have. And this seems to be a monument room of sorts. What's this? I don't even know. Maybe I plan to make that a ladder of some sorts through the whole thing. Let's try to take a look around what's going on here. It seems to be like a bedrock world. I don't even have permission to game mode myself, so I can't do that. And oh, what happened there? Yeah, no permission. It's probably done all by hand or by MC Edit, all of it. Obviously a lot of MC Edit brushes, it seems like, including some noise brushes and some sorts. It seems to be a little bit smooth, that's good. One of the things I really wanted to do at the beginning was to remove the like place importance on aesthetics, and that's one of the things that I felt is really important for map makers to do, is not to discount aesthetics, not to put it in the back burner, not to forget about it. Like a common theme is to put function first, and that's, I feel like, a misguided motive, because uh, it shouldn't be first, it should be both. Like, function might go first because aesthetics can take the sacrifice. Like, if you have an aesthetic build and you want to make it function, you might have to do a lot more work to it than taking a function build and making it a little bit aesthetic. But aesthetic is just a so important piece to me, and forgetting about it, putting it off completely, negating it all for function, really, really makes me dislike that style of map making. I feel like aesthetics are very important in that regard, and like the maybe like function first methodology works because a lot of people don't do focus on function at all, so they might need it to focus on function, I guess. But I don't know, if there's no focus on aesthetics, it's missing like 30-40% of the map to me. And it's uncompleted, and it's uh, at best like a C grade. If it's missing like 30%, it at best could be 70%, compared to other maps like 100%. A map that does both to me, an early map in the mood of early maps, would be like Final Fantasy 1, which has both functionality and aesthetics, and that just, I feel like, reigns supreme over any CTM that focuses on function only. And it just like stands no chance to me. But anyways, it's kind of like a little bit of a rant, and here's like my first stamp. I was just working around. I didn't even know what my goal was beyond the title First CTM, which is to make it a first CTM. But as we see, it's just very basic, probably a few hours work tops, and if it was done with my knowledge now, it'll probably be even less than that. But yeah, this is the first map on my list, I believe. I'm trying to go in order with this, but I probably will go out of order. and but generally speaking, I'll try to be linear with this. So on to the next map, I think. Alright, so here's the second map. The folder name for this map is called First Adventure Map, and the date is actually the exact same as the CTM map, September 6, 2011. Seems as though I created these the same day or started them the same day, even though I don't remember exactly what is going on in my mind or my thought processes and all that. But I think I spent more time on this one than the CTM. It's mainly it's built in like a vanilla generated world with too many items. You can see a stack of everything and probably zombies fly mod, and I needed a pick to break things, and apparently I was into golden hose because that's the second one I see. The doors are backwards because of Minecraft. This is a hotel, I believe, with a water feature for up the staircase, as well as one room per floor, because that's how all hotels work. And the staircase that's a bit out of sync with the rest of the thing. Another room per floor. What's going up here? I'm also in survival. I don't think I create creative mode here either. Yeah, no permission. Room 3, all bland. To the rave party. This is a pretty rave party. I jump up and down, but then my hunger will go down instantly. I must have had this water feature so people can go up and down that without having to take the stairs. But the bigger thing in this map, I believe, is not the swamp biome that suddenly appeared, but this over here, a bar apparently. This looks weird. Oh no, it's just new textures for that. Messed up staircase of some sort to... Ooh! Unstacked bread. I'll take some. Chef's thing. Chef's chest. What a tongue twister. And the biggest thing I think would be the sewer area. There's also like a bridge there. I kind of remember, like right here, looking out there, wanting something big in this area. I remember lighting up the beach too. It's coming back to me. This one's coming back to me more than the CTM, that's for sure. Yeah, I feel like at the time I was having more focus on this one than the other one. Some sort of trapdoor bridge, as well as a water feature, and here you could see the sewer area, which is kind of touched on. Let's go in. Yeah. Apparently I was gonna have the players try to swim up this waterfall, because that's not annoying at all. And had the sewer area, which is all made of black wool, because that's how sewers look like. And try to run around here. I have a custom texture, a resource pack now with a few custom sounds, like the pressure plate sound, which is actually stolen, sorry, from Sir Vladimir's map, Letter from Silent Haven, Silent Hill 2 remake, and you see some iron now in the sewers, but the sewers didn't get very much done. It's mostly just playing out with water streams that I knew about from like survival tutorials, which I was interested in at the time, like mob farms, darkroom mob farms, and this is what I was interested in. But yeah, custom resource pack with 3 custom sounds, new custom sounds, buttons and pressure plate sounds, arrows and TNT. But yeah, this is, oh dear. And custom creeper sounds. But good thing this is just a backup and just a copy of a copy. So I don't have to save that creeper blast forever. But yeah, this is the first adventure map, map number 2. Let's move on to the next one to make this video a bit shorter than it needs to, avoid being too long. Alright, so this is a bit of a mistake or something I've seen. I checked the date of when the folder was created for this one. The name of this folder is CTM with most progress. And you can see here that the last time I opened the world was January 13th, 2012. Although for some reason the folder creation date was March 1st, 2012. So the date of the first two might not be September 6th. But let's take a look at the third map called CTM with most progress. So old you have to convert the world to Anvil, apparently. Nope, never mind. Oh yeah, I'm in creative mode. That's good. So apparently we're in the end. I don't know how to get. Oh, I could kill myself, I guess. But this is actually the last area done in this map. So achievement get. Let's go back to his natural spawn. Hopefully, yes. So this is spawn. I actually did clear it out and have a lava ceiling to prevent mobs spawning on the roof of the world. And of course the roof of the world was 128 at the time, not 256. But here's spawn, there's a little water drop into a big room here. Typical, like it was a start of a much better start of a CTM than the first CTM I showed you. 3 zombie spawners protecting this chest of buttons, which is a crying face apparently. Just to troll the player, I guess. I don't know why that would be that cruel. I'll actually make it something more useful now. Skeleton spawner over here that doesn't seem to have a bow. Torches, that's pretty important early in. But the main part of the map is actually down, and I believe I was troll enough to make this glass a hole. So you walk out the main door and instantly fall down. Yeah, it was pretty cruel. Apparently it was patched, so it wasn't that cruel. So like down here is intersection 1 with 4 ways to go. Better than mine shafts. Let's go on this one first. It's actually I took a normal vanilla mine shaft, removed all the other caves around it, and then turned it to sandstone, to clay, to mossy. All the ores are mossy and stuff, and converted it all. Took the cave spider spawners out and replaced them with zombie spawners. It's actually fairly lit up in here, even though I don't have night vision, which suggests that there's lightning arrows galore. But yeah, it's all lit up in here. All the mobs are still spawning too. There's a ton of chests in here, and there's a wool, I believe, that way. Wait. Oh no, I'm not in the new snapshots, so I can't spectator mode this, but I believe like the wool is bottom that way. It's actually like a ravine that also intersected with this, and that's all converted too. But like this first wool area is actually complete with a transformed mine shaft with different types of blocks and different types of spawners. It's apparently a chest here. I love naming dungeons areas. I actually do. I think it's named after better than wolves. Like normally I'm very bad at naming things, but when I can come up with a name, it usually has meaning to it. For instance, Hidden Redemption actually has a lot of meaning to it, as well as the names of all 4 maps in Hidden Redemption series. Here's something useful. Beds are actually pretty useful. So what are the other areas? Tree. I think this is just a tree. Yeah, I placed a tree farm. I heard there was dirt somewhere in someone's making crude jokes apparently. And there's dirt in the mine shaft apparently as well. Slipping away. This is actually one of my favorite wool areas I designed, even though it's a bit mediocre. But the concept is you're swimming down a water stream and it's a maze. And there are spawners behind blocks as I normally, or there would have been if I finished the area. But all these areas are traps. Like this is actually a trap, and the sand is there not to hide the trap so much as to hide the light so mobs can still spawn in the actual map itself. And all of this is just continuously going down, trying to find the right path to the bottom where the wool is, and it's pretty brutal. There's another area design that I kind of wanted to do that's similar, but instead of like thin corridors, there's actually just a huge waterfall, like just a huge staircase down of water. Um, that's like 60 some blocks long with bedrock walls or something. But it's just like you have to climb that waterfall with a bunch of mobs pouring down the ramp itself, and you have to try to fight your way up that. And I just think that'll be like a cool area too. Apparently, you have to can't jump down this ladder. Um, but yeah, that's one of the early areas. Slipping away was what I yep. And the biggest area is lit up, kinda. Uh, like the first areas were get your dirt, get your tree, and now you'll get your torches and coal. Moving forward, there's still no real stone yet. It's basically a limited resource type of CTM. Probably something I wouldn't design now because I don't really have much interest in these types. But here's like our first stone and freeform fortress. This is one of my favorite areas as well. It's basically nether fortresses before nether fortresses were real, and well, they might have been real at this time. January, probably. There's stone pockets around, but generally just like a bunch of areas going across like this. It's first area meant to wow the player. Uh, Beyond like a mineshaft that they probably been through a lot, or a tree, or slipping away, or whatever. Like the first big area of the map, it's all lighting glitched up now, but I believe there's a trap in here too, in this tower? Where the bottom is the stand on pressure plates sort of trap. This is actually a troll chest. But you can see that this style of wool box is actually very old, much older than any Race for Wool. And brought these into my Race for Wool maps actually. I'm actually getting a little bit of FPS drops in here. But here's the actual wool box. Cyan wool now. And then we move forward over down here. Yes. So let's read these signs. I don't get the reason map makers don't add grass, but at least with the new updates. Sheep give wool that is useless in the CTM map except for beds. Cow give meat and armor, just an alternative sources of food. Grass gives seeds for bread anyway. Chickens give feathers, but not a ton. Pigs are similar to cows, just more food. And wolves are useless. Cute, but useless. So here's your grass. So in my Race for Wool series, I did not add grass because it could spawn passive mobs unfairly to two teams. But at the time this was made, passive mobs probably spawned like normal hostile mobs, and I'm getting even more FPS drops in here. But this is a my remake of Kokiri Forest. It's actually like Kokiri Forest Ocarina of Time, the Zelda game. But unlike most direct copies that try to mimic the area 100 like 1-to-1 ratio, perfect replicas sort of thing, I actually did my own twist on it. Oh, apparently the new spawning. Okay, it's apparently a new spawning is here, but this is Kokiri Forest of my own making. Apparently it actually is a dark area, so let me give myself some of this. And this is actually the wool area too. Here's the monument covered in fences. I actually had the names of where the wolves are. Spider's Den is actually area up ahead. So it's out of order, wolves, but slipping away better than mine says freeform fortress, which is cyan wolves you just saw, not lime. I don't know, but I can see like the house with the red around it, is over here. The shop, you may not use Red Wool for the monument. Sort of shop, and then I think, yeah, there's some money down there. Quote unquote money. Like in the game, there is no fire lantern in the middle of a lake in Kokiri Forest, but generally the layout is similar in some respects. Like the entrance to Hyrule Fields over there, so we could imagine the shop would be in this quadrant of the map, and you can imagine that the tree would be in this direction somewhere if we followed this road here, which actually is a path to it. But I also added a few things like a game over here. Chicken target practice for chickens would fall from here after being launched from eggs. Uh, very low key, but here's also appeared two types of spawners, easy to farm, I hope so. Giving the players options to farm skeletons and to make a cobblestone generator. As well as making the water for a large farm. And they existed when they don't have buckets yet, so they had to use these two things to make it without like breaking the map. But like generally it's all walled off. There's actually is Link's house over here. I should have picked a longer potion. But Link's house is over here. The Know-It-All Brothers' house is up here too. With books. Potion Master's house, Makar's house, or as I like to call him, Maka, because that's the sound Makar makes in Wind Waker. Apparently Link's house is more this way. Yep, down here. Link's house. Then upstairs too. I am getting FPS shops in here. Kokiri's sword. And let's take a look at the next areas to speed up this map. Over here is actually another area called Spider's Den, giving a player some nice water drops. See that cobweb? Yeah, I magnified it to about 16 times its size and multiplied it. Cured against the mobs who face. Yeah, basically, I was mean with the lava there. But like huge cobwebs, if we try to take a look at it generally, you might imagine that these are cobwebs 16 by 16 blocks big that meet up in the center and then copied a few times with spider spawners all around it, including a few cave spider spawners. Yep, there's some. And the wool is up in the middle of the back one, and there's actually a little Easter egg I hid in here too. Because this is at Y3, the coordinate of this place, and so this is all void fog. You can actually see the void fog particles, but I'm in creative and night vision, so you won't tell. But one of these snow blocks is actually an iron block, which I gifted the player that avoided completing this area completely by instead of just going straight for the wool and leaving, as I imagine a lot might do in the area of this sort of with these sort of monsters. But I don't know where that iron block is. I felt like it was bottom right somewhere. Right here. Yep, right there. There's the iron block. Yeah, so if you completed that area, you were rewarded with not only wool, but your first 9 iron of the map. And let's get out of here. Let's see what else is. I think this is as far as this map ever got. I actually did end up reusing Kokiri Forest, working on it a bit more and finishing it off and stealing it from this map. But that's a different map that I'm probably, hopefully have somewhere. But what area is this? Next area? More coal, lava. is all. Oh, yeah, that's right. There was another area in this map. A desert area over here with nether brick and stuff. Cave spider spawners. These mobs are dying in sunlight. Yeah, makes sense. Few bow and arrow supplies. Gas spawners. Oh, great. Here's the wool. Orange wool. This area didn't have a name, I believe. I believe that's all in this area, though. There's some endstone. HP. Uh, yeah, there's a lot of things that are in this map that remind me of a lot of first maps of other people's. Like, they just want to give a lot of shoutouts to all their favorite things, and so did I. Like Kokiri For and like rebuild Kokiri Forest or whatever, if they're on interpretation or not. I believe all these lava sources are trapped in the bedrock as well, so you're unable to reach the source itself. If you have a bucket or whatever, so I didn't want places that have lava buckets early. But I'm just flying around here to see what else is up. Oh, there is something else too. Yeah, there's this bedrock building, which is actually going to be. I did more in this map than I remember. I actually forgot this about this area entirely, but this is like a. In my redstone test world, I have a building about 10 blocks wide and 5 blocks deep, but every floor is a different biome of a certain sort or a different type of element. And this is going to be a remake of that in a bedrock box with layer by layer of certain types of elements and all that till you get to the wool. I'm not sure if you have to work up or down this, but you can see that 3 elements were mostly complete actually, beyond maybe mob spawners or something. But you can see I had a lot more to this area. It went uncompleted, and I probably moved on to something else. I forget, but yeah, this map is definitely the most completed CTM of that sort out there. I'm fairly certain there's nothing else now. I just wanted to double check this ravine area. And, oh yeah, here's the entrance. Theme 1, darkness, yeah. Elemental of some sort. And, well, I made the player go all the way down there. That's a bit rude. But yeah, I think it's about time to move on to the next map. So this is the 3rd map so far, so let's move on to number 4. So this is map number 4. The map title is Winter Wonderland, at least the folder save name is that. And the map date is December 2011, early December, because it's going to be a Christmas theme map, that CTM. It was actually going to be a collaboration map between myself and a map maker that went by X0 Thomas. Early viewers of my channel remember X0 Thomas as the creator of a CTM series called Corrupt Lands. And it was the first CTM series I did for my channel, and like X0 Thomas watched the whole series, and I gave a lot of feedback. And Floating Memories was the second map that was actually a lot of fun. And yeah, I just wanted to work on a collab with him to produce something like a Christmas theme sort of CTM, but it never actually happened. I think he was really busy or something, and I kind of gave up on the project because I don't even know why. But here's Spawn, little village, a little house with a scaled up Christmas tree, 4 times the size of a normal tree. And the forest around it is actually a bunch of custom trees with MC at its forester tools. And you might be able to pick out squares. Like a little, here's like a little rectangle, it seems like, of trees, and it's just like a bunch of copy paste of the same clump of trees to make a huge forest. You could see like especially around the edges, I guess. That huge, very noticeable 90-degree cutoff where I was just copying and pasting a bunch of trees around an MC edit. But yeah, working on this map, I think has a few areas kind of progressed. You could see a path through the forest um, that leads out to the first intersection from the beginning, where the player will have a ton of wood tools, obviously. Home tree, as it was called, Monument of Redemption, and I can see like both of our names pointed to what we called our respective monuments. Monument of Redemption, Altar of Accomplishment was his monuments. The Polar Train Ride, Mountains of the Yeti. They're all winter themed, snow themed sort of areas. We're gonna be at least, and here's the monument itself, split into two. And yeah, it's just gonna be a collab between us two. Lily pads are awesome. Your lily pads are brand new, it seems. But yeah, this map didn't go very far. Uh, it was just quick, like quick idea that I did, but never actually came to being or completion or even really a proper start beyond what you see here. And so I believe that's all that's really with this map. So I'm going to move on to map 5 number now. Right now. So this is the next map on my list. I don't know the exact date of this one actually, sadly. But the name of this folder is Glitched Room Redux. Redux. And it was meant to be a CTM and a huge cavern. Like the entirety of the CTM would be contained within this room, whose borders should be loading up now. Yeah, it's just like a huge empty room I made with huge MC edit brushes. Oh, apparently there's no wall there. And the reason why this map didn't come to completion is because the lighting errors when the Anvil update came out glitched this room in the complete sunlight, as we saw in the first CTM. So that really killed this map off entirely because it was meant to be completely dark in here, with the exception of the skylight spawn, as you see, as well as a default church, vanilla generated church building in the villages, as well as some village farms. I was meant to like focus on light to guide the players in this area. So like the first thing they'll see on that platform is, hey, there's food and farms down there. So the first area to work down to is this area. What I really want to do with this area was to remove the atmosphere that this was huge MC edit brushes. You can kind of tell, like generally, that there is brush strokes coming around here. Like there's indents in the wall here, as in the floor and ceiling, which suggests a huge brush, like a sort of crushed sphere of sorts. Like a sphere is sort of shorter than it is wider. But you can see that what I've done with this is remove a lot of the default circles that you can see with brushes and make the landscape more quote-unquote natural. And that's what I did with this whole underground area, is to make all the walls more natural, make the floor and the ceiling natural, and to eliminate the brush strokes, eliminate that sort of map making style that I felt feel as lazy and incomplete and just plain not fun to go through, I guess is what I'm trying to come to. And I just wanted to mainly focus on that, which is why most of what's done in this map is actually eliminating the huge brush strokes, or the obviousness of the huge brush strokes, even though you still saw that elit ellipse shape load in the render distance, which is something I was also trying to get rid of. And you can see that right here, I didn't quite get it done. You can see it, there's like some sort of obvious geometry going on with this part of the ceiling and this part of the wall that's not quite smooth out or eroded or faded like it is down here, where you can see some dips in the landscape that suggest bottomless spheres, but not quite uh, brush-like, even though like parts of the ceiling like this still have that feel to it. And but like for the most part, this huge room did see an end to it, and I also added pillars into here to also help limit the types of loading that you see with that perfect shape or this shapes right here, or like that sort of stuff. Like even that, like even shapes in a distance that load that I was trying to get rid of right there, like that perfect ellipse and that like, that sort of stuff. Like this point right here would have been gone too. I eventually, if I kept working on this map, although what ended this map is definitely something I know for sure, and it was the lighting errors. This area became perfectly lit upon 1.2.5, Minecraft 1.2.5, the Anvil update, which increased the sky limit to 256 and made this whole area uh, think that it was subject to sunlight when it wasn't. And you can see like my attempts to try to fix that with glowstone and whatnot, but it was pretty much long gone at that point. Although now it seems to be pretty dark in there without the same glitches. I think Mojang helped patch that, or maybe it actually did come and fix it at one point. I'm not sure, but this map is definitely put aside and won't be picked up probably. And yeah, so I think I will move on to the next map now. Let's awaken the Thunder Dragon. Alright, so this map actually is our August 26, 2012 as the date itself as well, which suggests that these maps were zipped up before that date and they were unzipped into like a normal folder again on August 26th at the same time. But obviously maybe not started the same day, but like wrapped up and on at the same time. But yeah, this is before all the race rules and stuff. You might remember a long time ago I had a map making series, and episode 1 was what to start with, and I went through all the different options you have, like a super flat world, you could have a void world, you could have a cave world, you could have all sorts of stuff that we've already seen a lot of. And the option I recommended at the end of that video was a terrain control world, where you use terrain control to make your own biomes. And that way you can create your own atmosphere of a map. And this map, terrain control generated for me a forest with a mix of jungle trees and normal trees next to mountain biomes. Sorry, I'm in mumble for that little beep. Next to a mountain biome that created sheer cliffs of like 100 blocks up straight up in the air to create a natural border around the area without having to build these myself or any of that sort of thing. And with that, I actually started on a map in that area. Like all the buildings and stuff you see here were not in that showcase. But apparently I still can't fly and I still can't game mode. Let's make sure I'm peaceful though. Yeah, I am. So I need to remember to turn that off because that would be pretty bad. But yeah, you can see like I worked on a lot of it around this area. Like a villager trapped inside. And it was meant to be like this area was in trouble, the normal blah blah blah, save us all sort of story. This is the starting house, and the biggest downfall in this map was that I tried to make it a texture pack map, and by that I mean I edited blocks like gold ore and iron ore to look like stone brick, but of a darker or lighter variety, like white stone brick or black stone brick or brown or whatever color I had. And I think this is the the light switches that I had a long time ago. And I also showcased on my channel. But yeah, this is the underground to all this area. This actually goes into the library, which would be like a progress point. It's actually piston based. Sorry this isn't survival. I know it's kind of cheap or whatever, but it kind of brings back to other things going on in Minecraft at the time. You can see like a staircase design. Oh, I can't get through that. Well, well, well. I don't even know where this goes. No, this is what the villager would take. Yeah, that's right. You save villagers, and they're brought towards. It actually went up. Okay, yeah, they were brought towards this area, and your goal was to save villagers and bring them to the. Oh no, gathered all the villagers for a town meeting where they discuss what happens and what to do. And that was the first part, and then they'll probably nominate you as the character of choice to do mission X, Y, and Z. And there actually are areas beyond the village, or would have been, that are definitely not even started, where there are dungeons. Like it'll be a 3-dungeon sort of Zelda style adventure map. And yeah, that's how this went. Dungeon 1 would be that way. I actually mapped it out. Dungeon 2 there's a little volcano or something that way. like a natural volcano that I adapted to it, and then we could go to maybe like Dungeon 3. This biome generation had I'm taking the treetops because it's faster. But like they had custom rivers through these mountain ranges too, and so I was gonna adapt that into like a river village. Here we have a barn with layered wheat farm that looks pretty cool, as well as some other crests and stuff here too. But I kind of want to see this river, so we're gonna head that way from what I remember of this map. But yeah, the biggest downfall of this map would be the texture pack. Like I kind of, I don't know. Like I started it, but then I was like, I don't really want to work with this anymore. But like this map was already too invested into the resource pack or the texture pack I had, and I was constantly having to try to update it with new versions of Minecraft and all that. And here's a river itself. You can see weird patches of biomes too. I think there used to be a biome tool that I had on servers where, and that's probably why I'm survival, because I built this on a craft bucket server, a private one. Um, and there was a plugin where you could shoot a snowball, and in a spherical shape it would form the biome. But yeah, here's the river. It's nope. I guess around the corner or something. I would have had a route to it, but yeah, I'm gonna end this tour here for this map, and suggest that this map probably won't see much life because it's too invested in the resource pack. I would have to rebuild a lot of stuff we already saw because a lot of it's weird ores that actually looked different with that resource pack, and I've definitely lost the resource pack over all this time. So yeah, not gonna see much light, but terrain control. That's what started this map, and resource pack ended it. So moving on to the next map. Ah, game mode 1, no. Give me game mode 1. But welcome to the next map. It is also in the collection of August 26, 2012 maps of mine. And this map is called UHC Bowl. And it really is more of an arena type map instead of a UHC map, where you can see it loading now, but like we're in this huge sphere of a bowl. You can kind of imagine how big it is by the small piece we see here. You just imagine it curving all the way around. But like there's 3 layers to this. There's top layer, middle layer, bottom layer. A ravine, an actual flat area up top. And it was meant to be a sort of like arena, like UHC arena map. A Hunger Games style. And it was meant to be a map. And if you recall on my old not my old channel, what am I talking, like my old videos, actually some of my most viewed videos, a Hunger Games style PvP that I played with 9 others and 19 others when season 2 hit, where we played on a custom map, and our goal was normal UHC rules, last one standing, but it was a custom map, and instead of plain vanilla generation. And on this map there's actually like 4 major things going on. In the middle, you can kind of see already, but there will be 4 biomes. I don't have enough yet, but yeah, 4 biomes. You see the mountains are on the edge here, extreme hills, and fast bridging over to the middle. Alright, but yeah, here's the middle. There's a jungle, ice, what are the other 2? And then in the middle is a lake where the spawn would drop you, I'd imagine. But yeah, what else is over here? Plains, I think. Forest and plains, probably. Yeah, but 4 biomes. Ooh, the water's all messed up. river. Apparently, I like the color of river grass, but like 4 different types of colored grass, and it would just be ultra hardcore Hunger Games style deathmatch. Never came to finish because that ultra hardcore stuff kind of died, and I lost a lot of interest in it personally. But you could see kind of just how this was being built and how it was progressing. Yeah, so this map. Just meant to be all fought into a big bowl, and we went on. Yay! We're finally game moded, and the game mode won. Woohoo! But this is a different type of map. All the other maps you saw were never released. They never had an official version. They never were completed. This map is actually the first map I ever made, and it was completed. There were actually numerous versions of this map, and there actually were 3. Version 1.0, 1.1, and 1.2. And in each version, I added additional mazes. And this map is, of course, the Ultimate Maze Collection. And this version is version 1.3, an unreleased version of the same map. So yeah, this is the first map of mine in this list of 19 that actually is a completed map, but this is a version of the map that has been worked on, but never actually released itself. So I'm including it in this video because they're also unreleased maps in that sort of sense. But in this version, command blocks are new, so I basically took out all the rail tracks. In the previous versions of this map, you used rail minecarts to go to each of the new mazes. The Dirty Hedge Maze, 4th maze completed. A lot of these mazes are all maps that are released and you are able to do them. But as you can see, this is the old spawn. Here is my trusty dog. The dog that disappeared in my SSP world, and a new dog that suddenly was here that was never here before in this world. And so yeah, I think this is my lost dog in my single player world. Oh man, you had a little whine there. There you go. Now you're full health. But yeah, so what I did with this area, since it's all minecart based, is I tore down all the rails. I desolated and demolished portions of it to make it torn up and destroyed. And this is actually 1.2, version 1.2's monument farm, where you had to place the lever on the lapis and for all of them and complete it that way. But yeah, like all the mazes, or all the mazes were in trailers and such. The junkyard maze, where you have to kind of parkour around to get to the end. The first ever maze was a treehouse maze. There's the huge dirty hedge maze, as I call it, because the hedge maze was suddenly in a desert biome, one Minecraft version, so it became dirty. There's a piggy maze where you have to lead a pig through the maze itself. All these fences will now lag people out, but right here you open this up, and then you have to lead a pig through the maze using wheat. They could track you through glass, so you have to lead a pig to the end over here. And this map was meant to be just a huge collection of mazes. This actually was another part of the map. Like, the map was getting so big with so many mazes that I needed 2 lobbies to kind of, like, you come to here to be a port to all the mazes in this area. Like that maze, this maze, which is actually like a flip-flop maze, and a pumpkin maze over there. This is a piston maze. All these mazes are really cool. Yeah, like here's the piston maze, you go through it, and then what you do is go to this area, and then this will activate the brown. Hopefully. Yep. So now you're kind of trapped where you were able to go before, and now you're limited. And now, since the brown walls are up though, you're able to go and press the green button, and that would lower the green. It's pretty laggy because there's a lot of pistons now. But now you're able to go where only the brown goes, so you're able to go to new areas and press this screen, which you couldn't reach before. And then with this screen, oof, it didn't work. Like the green would come back up, and so you're able to go to the next brown button, which would be over here. And then you're able to press the brown button, and then the brown would go back up, and you're left with only the green floor again. So you just had to kind of work your way through that. Probably some redstone stuff's bugging out below, because it's really old redstone. But yeah, there's a pumpkin maze, a huge pumpkin, another type of piston maze. And I believe there are some new mazes in this version. I'm not certain though. I think it was mostly just cleanup. There is actually a hidden maze, which is actually in the released versions, but since it's not completed, you can't actually reach it. Like it's not an area to go to, but it's kind of like an Easter egg of sorts for people who actually explore. Where is it? I think nighttime might help. I'm not sure why I trapped the cow. Nighttime did not really help light it up. I was hoping that it would light it up. I don't know, I think I could probably just dig straight down and find it if I wanted to. But it's deep down the ground in this area. Yeah, here it is. And it's basically just a bridge type maze where you press a button and bridges swap between the areas. Like this would swap the bridges over to here, and then you have to try to just build bridges to the area that you wanted to be in next. It's like island to island hopping, sort of thing that was never done. This might actually receive some light in the future, because it is a released map, and this is a future version of a released map. So it might see some command block upgrades and stuff. Underwater glass maze, a pyramid maze over here. There's numerous things going on in this. There's a ton of different types of mazes. What I wanted to eventually do with this was actually have guest mazes, and like my ideal would be to ask Vex if I could bring pain water into this, and then like give credit that it's pain water from Super Hostile map number 7 legendary, and bring that maze into this as like sort of like guest area where or a featured area where other people's mazes would be brought into this ultimate maze collection, as it's called. And this is just a mess, by the way, meant to be a mess. You have to navigate yourself through all this, which you can hardly even do in creative, towards the top of the whole pyramid. And then you would take the lever back. Now I even had like soul sand one-way passages because I'm just that cruel, to exit the pyramid. Yeah, so this is the Ultimate Maze Collection version 1.3. Never saw the light of day, so that's why I'm showcasing it. I think the biggest change is that the spawn is actually meant to be torn up and regrown over and all that sort of stuff. This is the Victory Tower that's definitely decimated now. And yeah, moving on to the next map. We're still in the 2012 maps. This is October 2012. And this map is actually called Majora's Mask Adventure Map. And that is because this map was supposed to be time-based. You're in a sort of like asteroid It's meant to be like a sort of asteroid mining facility of some sorts, and these lights around the edge suggest that there's actually a time map, Majora's Mask style. You have 20 minutes to complete your mission. You will likely not complete your mission in the first try or the first few tries, but at the end of the 20 minutes, it'll be reset to the beginning. So you'll try again, maybe with new items, maybe with new sorts of stuff to help along with your quest. And this is all the redstone for it. Actually, the first use the command blocks, same message 3. And then you can use the Song of Passing, which passes the time. And apparently it's the command blocks. Oh yeah. So how this worked, the timer system was when it started, I believe it's this button. You were moved to spawn, you were cleared off a lot of items, you're given some back. Like the progress items you collected over time, like maybe like a bow or something like that. Like 18 minutes remaining. And then I used chicken timers to actually get through this. Wait, how did I do this? Yeah, here's the chicken. So at the end of 2 minutes, the chicken lands on this pressure plate. The pressure plate fires instant splash damage potions to kill the chicken. But the chicken will land in the pressure plate and trigger and spawn the next chicken. Which I use spawn eggs for. And at the end of every 2 minutes, I will kill the chicken in that and move on. And then the Song of Passing would kill any chicken in any of them and restart the whole cycle from scratch. And yeah, it's basically Zelda themed sort of adventure map of that sort where you have 20 minutes to complete your mission, and that was the goal. Like, I was given a golden apple just to test it out. Yeah, you could see like when it all starts, you told a ton of messages, and this is supposed to be probably where the button is, but and like at the end of 20 minutes, you're told tisk tisk. What else were you told? There's also like a huge memory array down here, which increased over time. Oh yeah, the memory array. All this redstone's up for here because every 2 minutes, part of this circle lights up. So like at the end of every 2 minutes, you can see like that part lit up. Now this part would light up next, and it would go on and on and on all around the circle for the progress of the day. So you can always be able to look up and see how much progress you have left in this time cycle. 16 minutes. Chicken died. Moved on to the next one. The redstone still works. The next lights should be popping up, but it doesn't seem to be working anymore. This is really old redstone. But the real killer of this map was just like the other adventure map, and I tried to do a resource pack for this one, and got too invested in it, but also at the same time too disinterested in it, and kind of the map died with it. Big mistake that I won't be repeating, although see that I did repeat it. I didn't learn my lesson quite yet at the time I had this mistake, although I'm not going to deal with resource packs anymore if I ever try an adventure map. But you can see like this would be a library. The goal of this library would be to go to every corner of it and like activate all the lights. Like I would walk up to here and this light would turn on. I would walk up to here, the light would turn on, and I would give light to the whole library. And you can see like parkour up to other parts of the library to bring light to weird areas, to areas that I didn't like, weird out of place areas. So you had to like try to complete this all quickly within the time limit, and then the librarian would give you something helpful. and then you could either reset time, work on something else, try to just save the asteroid from running out of air. And that was the real theme, was that the asteroid facility ran out of air in 20 minutes. So yeah, the real color of this was the resource pack, of course. Anyways, I'm gonna move on to the next one. Alright, we're approaching the end of the 2012 maps, but this map is something really cool that I wanted to do in Minecraft. The map name is SMG meets MM. And what those letters mean is Super Mario Galaxy meets Majora's Mask. So the Majora's Mask other map failed, but I wanted to use that concept. I wanted to bring that concept into Adventure Map anyways. And at the same time, I was having ideas for a Super Mario Galaxy map where there would be 3 little cube planets, and it would be like dice, like normal squares, and then you would be on the top of one, and then you go to the edge of it, and then walk off, and you'll be teleported to another rotation of the whole map. Like you're running around the planet in Super Mario Galaxy, you're running off the side of this planet onto the other face of it. So if you're, let's say, on this quartz block I have in my hand, you were on the top of it, the sort of rings, and you walked off the edge, you would be on the striped part, and the striped part would be the top of the map, and the rings would actually be the side of the planet you're on now. And there would be 3 planets, and you'd be able to hop in between 2 planets on the 2 faces that are facing each other. And there'll be 3 planets for 6 sides, which is what this area of the map is for, is to make all these areas flat. And you can see I started on one area over here. 1.5, Minecraft 1.5 recently came out in this area, and like you would, let me go over to here. You would basically walk off this and then enter this area, and this world would be on its side then. Like you'd be teleported to a whole different part of the map. There'll be 6 huge parts of the map that all function. And yeah, you can see the issue with that is grass, for instance, when it's on its top, looks like this. But imagine you were standing on this face of the grass. That's not a grass block. That's like kind of dirt and grass doesn't rotate. Like all the other blocks in the game don't rotate. They're not rotationally symmetrical like grass or doors. If you try to rotate a door 90 degrees, you have like sort of sideways door, but you can't get that in Minecraft. So this map became entirely resource pack dependent. Yeah, resource pack dependent maps. That doesn't work, right? But you can see here, if you disguised pistons and logs as a door, you could actually rotate it on its side. So like this piston, this birch plank, a birch log would be an iron door, and like the bottom of a door, like the bottom and the top of a door, and you could rotate this door on its side 90 degrees, 180 degrees, 270 degrees. You can stack it normally, and you could also stack it upside down if you wanted to. So like the door textures would be be able to be rotated, and all 6 angles I needed it to be rotated. Grass was another block that was troubling, and I used leaves to accomplish that by disguising leaves as a grass texture. And then you can see that leaves have the same texture on all 6 sides, so we have that grass texture on all 6 sides. And like you can even hear that when you're walking on leaves, it sounds like you could be walking on grass as well, which is also another pretty cool thing. Why I use leaves. So yeah, there's also I had like a ton of sort of blocks that are rotated in all 360 all 6 faces look similar enough or the same, and I was also disguising them all, like making them perfectly 4-way symmetrical. so they did look exactly the same and with no all these differences. And that kind of really ended this map progress, even though like the concept was there and you could use pistons and doors that had faces that could be rotated in all directions to create like doors that appeared sideways or upside down. And yeah, I'm going over to this corner because I believe over here is something I need. Here. Alright, so right here in the middle is my command block that teleports me to the actual cubes itself. So you might get a better picture of what's going on. Let these cubes load in. But yeah, these are the 3 planets. You'll be on red 1. You'll walk off and be teleported to 3 more cubes where red 2 is actually on top and red 1 is on its side. And then from red 2, there'll be like a pipe or something that will shoot you to blue 2, which would be above you. And when when you're walking on red 2, blue 2 would be above you, and the green planet would be that way. And when you're on this face, green would be above you, blue would be that way. And that's like all those sorts of orientations that you get in Super Mario Galaxy. And I wanted to bring that into Minecraft in this map. Didn't come to fruition because of the resource pack. And the map name is Super Mario Galaxy meets Majora's Mask because I wanted to use Majora's Mask progression and playstyle in a world like this, where, because I like Majora's Mask progression. I like the fact that you can derp around in the world, and you won't be breaking the storyline. Like in Ocarina of Time, you could beat the Desert Temple. Spoilers, by the way. You could beat the Desert Temple, and the game tells you to hurry up and go save the Princess Zelda, who was just captured by Ganon, and you have to go rush to Ganon's castle to go save her and finish the game. But how most people play it is that they don't go rushing to the castle. They instead do a ton of side quests at that point. It's right before the end. You do a ton of side quests to go achieve that. But the whole time you're doing those side quests, like Navi is telling you to go save the princess now, hurry. But like the whole story is warped and twisted, and it kind of breaks the feel of the game. But with Majora's Mask, that pressure is always there, but you're free to explore. You're free to do side quests. You're free to go get other masks. You're free to do all this sort of other stuff because you could always reset time. You could always go back in time 3 days to restart the whole cycle, and the pressure to get to the end game is not. It doesn't break the game if you don't follow that pressure. That's why I liked Majora's Mask, and that's what I wanted to bring into an adventure map, where you're free to explore the map without feeling pressured by the story, or without breaking the story if you actually do explore on your own terms. And yeah, I wanted to bring that sort of story into an environment of Super Mario Galaxy with walking off faces of the cube onto new faces where you're on green 2 and red 3 is above you, and you could see the blue cube above you to your left as well, and that sort of stuff. And I just thought that would be like a cool concept, but the resource pack and the way Minecraft actually handles rotating blocks of a lot of different sorts doesn't actually work that very well, and that's what kind of hindered this more than anything else. So let's move on to the next map. Alright, we're into 2013 now. We're into the maps of 2013, and we're also to the point where this is the last CTM map of my that I started on but never completed, and the Super Mario Galaxy map was the last adventure map. All the maps remaining after this one are PvP based maps. So this is the last CTM, and this map was done in 2013. 2 different dates in particular. and it's basically meant to be Wind Waker inspired. My own interpretation of Wind Waker, hopping from island to island to complete all the different dungeons. And this is meant to be the spawn island, which is all I worked on. The first time this was done was the huge generation of the world itself. I used terrain control to generate an infinite ocean. And this ocean is actually very particular. We have Y at 60, about 60. We go down and we actually should get night vision. We go down, you can see a ton of sand, which is what I'll get to next. But the ocean floor is all dirt. There's no clay, there's no nothing. Train controlled ocean. We dig down. There's 3 layers of dirt, and then the rest is all stone with dirt patches in it. But like, there's no ores in the ocean at all. It's only stone. It's only dirt. There might be coal in the ocean as well. You can see it very clearly now, but I think there's also coal mixed in with all the stone. But there's no caves in this ocean. There's no iron, there's no gold, there's no diamonds, there's no ores, beyond maybe coal. There's no caves either, so there's no dark spots in the ocean either. Which then led me to think, oh, how am I supposed to create huge islands when the ocean floor is that deep? So I used sand and huge sand spheres in MC Edit, updated them, and it had sand fall into the ocean to create the base of an island. And you can still see some sand spheres that would definitely have been cleaned up by the time this map would ever be released, if so. But you can see it down there. And the general shape of this is all sand pouring down to fill in all the air slots, to create beaches, and then Voxel Sniper to convert the sand into stone, and then to give the area a grass covering, like you'll expect it to be quote unquote natural, with like layers of stone, 2 layers of dirt and grass all around the whole island. And then the houses themselves with stained clay, suggesting that the houses themselves actually were done decently recent. That was actually a weird rhyme, but recently compared to everything else. And this would be Home Island. And so if you found an enchanting table, I gave you free bookshelves to put your enchanting table in, and other sorts of plans for this area that would be like Outset Island, a place you could return to. Although this would be a place you return to way more often than Outset Island, because the monument would be here, and all your farms and all that sort of stuff would be here as well, and probably spawn point. But there's nothing else in this ocean beyond about 5,000 blocks in each direction of the same ocean type thing, and actually a huge sphere. This whole map is a sphere of these sorts of chunks. I generated that with another plugin, another bucket plugin, to create a sphere of like 500 chunks or something, with terrain control to control what those chunks are generated as. The same ocean design throughout the whole thing, which is pretty cool. I feel like this method actually would help a lot if I felt the need to, or the want to actually progress this map even further. Although other maps definitely take priority, including many PvP maps, which would be the remainder of this video would be PvP oriented maps. So yeah, this is the last CTM I worked on. It's decently recent. I don't know exact dates, but 2013 for sure. Let's moving on. Alright, so the first PvP map on the list was started September 6, 2013, and as you can see, it was stained clay based, and this is a Race for Wool map actually. You can see like sort of layers of stratification of like darker. We went up to the lighter colored stained clay, and I believe this is the front of it. Like this would be the void lane, and the mirror would be over here, along there. But This map is called the Race for Wolves series. Would not be part of Hidden Redemption. It would been it would it's part of a series called Lost Causes. It has meaning just like Hidden Redemption, but Lost Causes would be the next 4 maps, like another series of 4 Race for Wolves maps, and this should have been the first one of them all. And basically, not much is really done about it beyond actual like, building of the whole lane itself, which took a while. This would have been the spawn drop. You would drop into this waterfall and have the ability to move around. Stained clay feels kind of iffy though, and that's probably what kind of hindered the map. Like running around, it feels too much like candy, I guess. And as maybe like a theme I was going for, like Candy Mountain, I believe is one of them. That's something I was working on at one point or another, but it just feels too smooth and kind of weird terrain to try to traverse. There's not much actually built in the map itself beyond a few mountains, spawn drop, which doesn't have actual spawn above it. Quartz tower, because that's the type of block that matches stained clay the best, I think. And then this little thing, obsidian thing, where you would go through here, it's kind of trapped in obsidian, and you have to go through the obsidian part to get to this chest here, which should contain important supplies. It wouldn't be a wool, but it would be pretty decent supplies that you have to do a pretty big risk to get. Another tower eaten by the obsidian, and as well as this sphere, this cloud. This cloud would be a wool. This part would all be dark. There would be a lot of mobs in here, and the wool would be red wool. And it's also, well, there's a ton of mobs in here. It's also pretty open to PvP as well. And I don't know, this is like very bare backbone on this. The only entrances into this cloud beyond digging through obsidian would be to come up into this opening. Like right here's the void, so you can't go around it. Into the opening on this side, or the opening on this side, which is actually a lot smaller and closer to the lava. So a bit riskier to be shot into, but a bit further away in case like this entrance is locked down and you needed to. Just giving more options to get inside. But yeah, there's nothing actually built into this. And I moved on to another Race for Wolves map that's actually a bit more completed than this, and I feel probably be finished before this one. Even though this one is number 1 in the meant to be number 1 in the Lost Causes series of Race for Wolves maps. So moving on to another map. My voice is getting worn thin, but this map is something you might be familiar with. Yeah, this is Race for Wolves number 4 of Hidden Redemption. This is Slippery Slope. And this is actually in this video because it's an updated version of Slippery Slope that never was properly finished. Version 2.1, when the current version is version 2.0. It was meant to be an update to the map based on what I saw in RMCT4. This map was played in RMCT4's first round. Half the teams played this one, and the other half played Mountain Mayhem. No, Mountain Mayhem? No. Cilantro's map. Modern Warfare. Modern Warfare. Our team played Modern Warfare though, so we didn't play this one, but a lot of teams played this map, and I saw a lot of things that I wanted to change with it. And one of the first things well, not one of the first things, one of the last things I built was this sign. I added a huge sign of Slippery Slope, and this font I actually love this font. Kind of chaotic, but with a lot of order, still readable, but I don't know, I like it. I like that a lot. I liked how that sign turned out. Spawn is still the same. The map itself has a lot of changes though that I want to go through in this video. That chest is still the same. All these chests have triple the food now. There's 3 mushroom stews instead of 1. because food is annoying. And all these chests have less arrows in them than before as well. There's less arrows in all these chests because I wanted to make that villager more important. All these chests are the same default and have the normal arrows. This chest has less ladders than existed before. They half the ladders as before. Working through. Cannon supplies are the same. The house tree, now actually has a fenced door. And the signs are actually vertical now, so they'll be the same on both sides. And these chests are no longer double chests. They're single chests now, which will also be mirrored properly without having to worry about it. Like double chests would, if you flip it, like the contents would be flipped around. So let's say I had arrows and emeralds in this chest. If I flip this chest on the other side, it could look like this instead. Because the right chest is now on the left, and the right chest is the one on top, or something. And how just how chests flip around. Double chests are pretty bad for Race for Wool because they flip, and you have to like make sure they flip properly to be properly mirrored on both sides. And now you can see like there's more food, there's a little bit more armor as well. Generally, in all these chests too. And then these mines are the same. But down here is the villager. The villager is different. And the reason why this map is not completed, because one, villagers that are not the villager I want spawning spawn like normal a default villager spawns first every time with these spawners, and they spawn with normal trades. So they spawn with random normal trades, and I don't want that at all. That's very, very bad. But now these villagers also have a permanent name tag, and the name tag is fake player. So if you want, you could use the minecarts to push around and give the presence that there's a fake player like above second wool, and that way you could abandon second wool but give the presence that it's still being guarded or something. There's something still being done there by one of them. And then you and the name tag will move around because villagers move around, and yeah. If you wanted to do that you could, but also the trades are different. Instead of lapis lazuli, the dye, I traded it for lapis lazuli block because the dye actually works with any dye. Let's say you have bone meal, you could have used bone meal as lapis lazuli to get the arrows that you wanted, because they're both dyes and villagers don't recognize data value, and lapis lazuli and bone meal have the same block entity ID with different data values, because they're both dyes, DYES. So I needed to make a lapis lazuli block to make sure that you're actually using lapis lazuli to get the arrows instead of bone meal or red dye from red flowers or something like that. And then the other trades are lapis lazuli ore, and that will give you a ton of arrows. And then the normal bow trade for power 3 flame. The power 3 flame is actually now unrepairable. The repair cost is now 40, meaning you cannot anvil it anymore with it because it'll be too expensive to try to repair this bow. So these bows won't be as strong as they were because you could repair them in previous versions and have a fully healed power of the flame bow, and I didn't want that, so I made it impossible to repair. So you're left with only 96 shots of a power of the flame bow because there's 3 emerald blocks on the map. And there are 3 separate bows too. And lapis lazuli ore is also new because the pick of the miner was also a pick that was never really gotten. No, the pick of the archer is a pick down here. It was out of its way, and it was a fortune pick, but nobody ever went for it. It's a fortune because it gave extra lapis, but instead I went for a silk touch pick, and that would give you lapis lazuli ore, and that would give you 3 times the arrows, and it's supposed to lapis lazuli block. And so that made this pick more valuable, I think. Also, first wool got a little bit of an upgrade. There are more mine shafts across it now. This shaft is new as armor, as well as this shaft, I believe, which has arrows and other things. And you can see like this huge pillar is actually new as well, which I actually like the look of that. And it just gives this area a little bit more importance beyond the entrance to the wall. That chest is the same. The zombie penguin spawner is now symmetrical on both sides. One side will not spawn faster than the other. As well as I think a general cleanup around this. No, I think this wall is pretty solid. I think I left it as is. But this wall, the second one, was cleaned up a lot. All the bedrock holes were filled. You can see all the fake players. All the bedrock holes were filled. You can no longer blow up the chest from a bedrock corner and then pick up the diamond picks to the wall. And you can no longer bomb this and use a hopper to get it through because the bedrock is now too thick beneath the actual floor itself. 3 thick actually. Just to make certain that you can't use a hopper minecart to blow up the wool chest on your own side and then pick up the wool off the bedrock ground with the hopper minecart. So yeah, that happened in the tourney, and I wanted to definitely fix that because that was a really bad pass around. And then the final areas, I guess, would be general cleanup around here. Dead Man's Bunker now has 4 single chests instead of 2 double chests for the symmetrical issues, as well as an anvil. And the final area actually is properly dark now. I used vines to make this area dark beneath, and this area will spawn skeletons during the daytime. So this area is a lot more difficult to rush, and there'll be mobs spawning in the middle 2 blocks of this area during the daytime itself to make this area play how it's supposed to play instead of being glitched into that sunlight glitch we saw in other previous maps. This area that's bedrock ceiling now is properly dark in the middle, giving it a darker atmosphere, and that was done. The vines didn't actually help. What actually did help was, I can't find them, but there are block 36 blocks in these chunks above the bedrock, 1 per chunk. I know it's like a grid of 15 by 15, so at least 1 per chunk. 6 chunks are 16 by 16 by 16. So I wanted these chunks to be actually registered in the game. So that way sunlight doesn't shine through and it thinks that these chunks are unfilled. As that's what was going on. I can't find these block 36 though. They're actually kind of hard to find, but they only exist above the bedrock, so they won't affect gameplay. And they exist in the void all around the bedrock itself. I don't know where they are, but I guess the final change to note in this version would be the power bows. I gifted 2 power 2 bows to the teams, and they're actually unenchanted now. Like these bows are, this is a power 2 bow and 3 stacks of arrows. And now it's a unenchanted bow, power 2 book, and half the number of arrows. So to get the same power 2 bow to lock down this area, you would have to run up to the anvil, or make your own anvil, there's enough iron for that, and have enough levels to repair the bow to power 2. Yeah, I'm a bit mean. I thought it was just too easy to use power 2 in this map. The other power 2 is actually up here. I'm also very mean because these were like this in previous versions, and the trapdoors provided no cover from the other team. Like you would be in here and people, they could still shoot you. They weren't real doors, so instead I made it I made it like this, so to walk through you had to, yeah, it's even more challenging to walk through, and no more cover than what there used to be. But I also took the power of one bow and unenchanted it and made them books instead. Cleaned up these chests from single to double chests, but they have the same supplies in them. They're just single chests now, so they're like mirrored same on both sides, as well as the other supplies that this room had. So yeah, this map is actually ready to be released beyond one bug that I had, and this is actually a pretty big bug. I'm getting FPS drops. But if I come back around to the fake player, before the bug used to be when I hovered over this bow, when I hovered over it, it would crash my client. But now I can actually look at what the bow is, like the enchants on the bow, what it actually looks like, and then I can actually trade for it. But when I try to shoot it, like I could shoot normal bow, but these bows, when I trade it and get it, they're ghost bows of some sort. They just instantly disappear when I try to shoot it in creative and survival. It doesn't matter. It's like these power 3 bows are a control of some sort. I don't even know what's going on with this. I don't know. These bows are just not working properly. And I spawn these villagers with a summon command. Freshen 5 to make them green, custom name fake players, custom name visible to make them the name seen, and then offers. You can see the types of things I ask for. Max use is 5, so you can only trade with each villager 5 times. And then what it buys, what it sells, what it buys, what it sells, and then the arrow, the bow itself. I don't even know what's going on. It's spawning right. Like sell the item idea for it, the repair cost 40 to make it unrepairable. It would be too expensive to repair, and I don't know. The damage, like, it's alright, I feel, but it's just not spawning properly. I don't know why. And that's what caused this map to be postponed. Other than that, this map would be ready to go. Just clean up the download and clean up the map, clear out all the entities, and then offer the download for it. If that bug was just not not happening, I don't know. But like, the spawn platform's actually updated. Like cleared out a lot of the redstone in here for random teams, and I cleaned up the command blocks inside. Arrow changed his skin. The 4 people I shouted out for this map who helped out the series the most: Detroit, Arrow, Author Blues, and Gamma Ray. But like, all this redstone cleaned up. I even the note blocks that played inside are now place sound commands to be heard by all, to make it like so everybody can hear it at the same volume, instead of having note blocks inside that could only be heard when you're within range and all that. So I wanted to like clean that up, and as well as give a nice 3, 2, 1 go countdown in color. So yeah, it's just, I don't know, that one bug really threw this map for a loop, and still has, unfortunately. That's actually just there. But yeah, this one is actually pretty close to being done though. Ready for testing and all that. If that villager is working right. I don't want to test it when that villager is not working. Not giving the bow, because those bows are pretty important for the meta game, and Without that development, it won't be a proper test, I feel. So that's what Slippery Slope 1.2 is being hindered by. Other than that, it's pretty ready to go. So moving on to the next map though. Alright, this video is long, but to make up for it, one of the last maps, it's going to be very short. So recently, I've been playing a ton of TF2 for the past year, probably. Been playing a ton of TF2, main Engie. My engineer is my favorite class, but what I wanted to do in Minecraft was to create a control point map. In TF2, their map control point is attack defense style of map, two-sided attack defense, which is what it would turn into in Minecraft. And you have control points. There are 5 of them. There's one at the main base, one in the middle, point 2 and 4, and then one in the middle, the midpoint. And the goal of both teams would be to capture the opponent's last point and to control all 5 points. And to do that, you'll need to first capture the main point, and then you'll have 3, and the other team will have 2. Then you have to progress to the 4th point, and both teams are contesting the 4th point, while this team is trying to get back to the middle. This team's trying to get to the 4th. If the 4th point's captured, the winning team, the one that has all 4 points, needs to push into their final point, while the losing team needs to defend that point and try to push out back to capture their 2nd point again. So, yeah, this is a very, very rough model of a control point map I was trying to work on. You kind of could see what I was in my explanation of how control point maps work in TF2. Where the 5 points would be, the midpoint would be here, 4th point would be here, the final point would be inside that little area. This map was actually a very, very rough sketch though, and I actually moved on to the next map. And this map's actually mostly completed. So let's take a look at that map.